Local business owners are always wondering if they should use Meta ads or Google ads to scale up their business and get more clients. And after working with multiple business owners, I'll be sharing the pros and cons of both, which industry should be using which platform, and the answer might surprise you because it might be both, but not in the way that you think. So stick around and we'll go deeper into that by the end of the video. Getting right into the video, first we're going to talk about Facebook ads, the pros and cons. Then we're going to move on to Google ads, the pros and cons. And we're going to stick mostly to the search and call ads and not so much when it comes to YouTube ads, which also falls under Google ads. So when it comes to Facebook, the first thing that it's good for is that it does both demand generation and demand capture. So what does that mean? Demand generation is when you are soliciting an offer that no one knows about, right? You are interrupting them and you're saying that, hey, this is something that exists in the world and this could be something that benefits you. It's not something they may be looking for, but they might be interested in depending on how you position it. And when it comes to demand capture, that's when someone's actively looking for your services and then you put yourself in front of them. So Facebook actually knows a lot about their users and it actually trades data with Google and vice versa. And they know who's looking for what. So they are actually willing and able to put the ads that you put out there in front of people who are already looking for your services. So Facebook can do both. Also, Facebook is good for new and unique services or offers, things that don't exist in the market. Because if you're doing some kind of a coaching with a very unique angle, or if you're providing a service with a promotion that's just not out there, you can put it on Facebook and know that people who may not be looking for it may be very interested in it based on how you position yourself. Also, Facebook gets a lot more reach and the cost per lead is lower versus you doing it on Google. And it's also best for visually appealing products. So if you have things that are shiny, or if you're doing e-com, if you're doing apparel, if you're doing fitness coaching, anything that's visually appealing, you can take it as it is. I would recommend going in on Facebook ads. And also it scales with audience building and brand building. So if you are posting on Facebook, posting on Instagram, it does very well with ads because ad spend can actually decrease the better your brand is and how much your clientele is aware of who you are and what you do. Now to talk about a little bit more about the cons of Facebook. So first off, it needs a lot more back-end setup. Here, what happens is Facebook is very good at getting you a lot of leads, but it's not good at giving you the best leads, which we'll talk about a little bit later. So what you need to do is you have to have a lot of back-end setup to really make sure the leads you're getting is actually coming across and working with you and buying from you. And another thing about Facebook is that it has terrible customer support. If you ever had a account being disabled or if you had payment issues, they're not very good at helping you. And let alone, some people don't even have the button to contact support depending on how much ad spend they have on the platform. And the last thing is that you need to have visual creativity for the best performance. So you need to know how to be good at graphic design, or you need to be able to do good video editing for Facebook ads to really get you the bang for your buck. All right, so moving on to Google search ads and call ads. So I just changed some things around here, but to go right into it, pros is higher quality of leads. People who are looking for exactly for your services are usually much more likely to buy right away than just tire kicking or showing just doing it out of interest. And the next thing is best for known services. So I say known services and not common or boring services because not only are they obviously good for common services such as whether someone's looking for a lawyer, accountant, a plumber, electrician, HVAC, but also for niche services that are known, such as if you do some sort of IT services or certain types of things that are known in your community, and people are looking that up, you can rank very high, or it can show up very high on Google search ads and be able to capture that market. But what's not good for is that it's not good for anything that is just new, a new offer, something that's new just coming out, some type of coaching or a new industry that people don't know of. Next thing is that there's less backend setup needed. And when I say less backend setup is needed, doesn't mean that it is recommended. So I've seen people just set up a bunch of Google ads campaigns and then just tie it to their website and they're getting leads. People are calling, people are signing up, filling out their forms. Whereas when you do that for your Facebook ads, that might not be ideal. What I would say is it is not recommended. You still want to have great landing pages and retargeting to make sure that people are, or you are getting as much value for the ad spend you are doing. So next thing I want to mention is that Google is best for less visually appealing services. So when it comes to Facebook, obviously the Facebook platform runs on people staying on the platform, and Facebook likes to promote ads even though you're paying them, when it keeps people in the platform. So if you are a plumber, electrician, or you're doing some kind of, remediation, or if you're doing mold remediation, these are things that are not appealing to look at. And if you put that on Facebook, it just would not go well with Facebook itself or the people on the platform. So it's very good to use Google instead for those types of services. And last thing I want to mention for Google is they have really good customer support. One thing I do want to mention is that they are a bit salesy these days. They are pushing whatever new ways, that features and functions that they are pushing out, even though they're not tested and proven, just to get you to spend your money on it. But there is a better support system compared to what Meta provides. So let's get into the cons of Google Ads. First off, your reach is limited by your search volume. So the more people that are looking up your services, the more people Google can show your ads, and the less people will see it. Next up is that Google is a much more complex ad platform than Facebook. And I would mention that just because I said that Google is more complex doesn't mean Facebook is any less complex. It just relatively might be a little bit easier. But when it comes to Google, you can actually make a lot more mistakes and burn through your ad spend without seeing anything just because you set everything up wrong. Another con of Google Ad is that it's a higher cost per lead. Because the quality is higher and Google knows that a lot of these people are much closer to buying, it's a lot more expensive to get clicks and these conversions. So another thing is that the Google is only demand capture. So unlike Facebook, which does both demand generation and demand capture, you're only showing your ads to people who are already looking for your services. And there are some campaigns you can do in Google called demand gen or lead gen, but those are a little bit different. And when it comes to search and call ads, it's mostly just demand capture. So moving on, let's talk about which industry should be using which platform, because not all industries should be using one or the other. Some can use both, and there are some that should be using neither. And as you can take a look at this, when it comes to a lot of these boring and common services such as plumbers, roofers, water restoration or water damage restoration, IT equipment, security services, law, HVAC, towing, Google is great for them. People don't go on Facebook to be entertained by these services. I mean, obviously there's exception, but in general, these are not the services that are entertaining on Facebook that people will just sign up and watch. Whereas when it comes to things that are visually appealing or aesthetically appealing that do well in Facebook, such as clothing, jewelry, lifestyle brands, lifestyle products, fitness coaching, health, when you're, travel, events, festival, restaurants, these are do very well on Facebook. And when it comes to both, which industry should be using both, there's an appeal of aesthetic and commonality, or being a common service or a local service for these industries. So dentistry. So smile, how clean and straight they look is very appealing. But at the same time, a lot of people just want to go and get their checkup done or a molar removed, and they're just looking it up on Google. Same with gyms. Someone just want to sign up for a gym, or they're looking for fitness motivation. Same with accounting. So another reason accounting is good for both is because it's seasonal. And for other seasonal industries, what's good is that you can actually go heavy on ad spend in Facebook right before the season kicks in, because people will know, hey, I have to be able to do this by this time. So I've had a few clients in the accounting space that did very well on Facebook because we started running ads right before the tax season to capture a lot of demand for their services. But after that, during the summers and during other seasons, it makes sense to run Google Ads just to capture people who are only looking for the services rather than trying to convince them to do otherwise. Moving forward, same with real estate, insurance, home improvement. You can use both home improvement or aesthetic, but then also it only depends. Some people are just looking for it. Insurance, real estate, same thing. And now this is interesting because I know a lot of people don't talk about this on YouTube and other. So now moving forward, let's talk about some industries that actually don't work on either. As much as I would love to say, hey, you can use one or the other to be able to get leads and you can get a lot of clients, these industries don't really work on either. These are some of the industries that are best if you are in person, meeting people, you're building relationships and getting network referrals when it comes to venture capital, CFO services, and mergers and acquisition services. And I would say, even if you do want to use online services, cold email might be a good for all these, but I would not recommend either Facebook or Google Ads as much as I would have loved to. And another thing I want to mention is I did try this. This is a controversial one because I've seen people try Facebook ads for this, CFO services, and some people had a bit of success. But unless you have a big audience where they're warmed up, they trust you, right, which is a huge factor, by Facebook ads or Google ads alone, this may not work. And I would highly not recommend doing this. Okay, so final thoughts, and I do want to mention exactly how we do things, which is a little bit different than any other agencies trying to push either Google ads or Facebook ads for your local service business. So what we do differently is we actually leverage both, because even if you are using some of these services, you can still use Facebook ads in a very unique way. So when you have prospects or customers looking for your services, whether you're a plumber, electrician, or some of the boring, non-aesthetic services, we're using Google Ads to capture the demand. And then we're moving them into a landing page. And we're making sure this is very curated to exactly what you're doing, and then getting them on a call or filling out a form for you to talk to them. And what we do a little bit differently is that we use Facebook ads to retarget them who've already shown interest. Instead of trying to push people straight through Facebook ads, we make sure we still use Facebook ads as a retargeting tool so that you are not forgotten and people still come back to you even if they have started the search for your services and what you do. Another thing I want to mention is that depending on the season, if you're an accountant or if you're doing certain, roofing maybe, and right before the season, it actually might make sense to do a push through Facebook ads, because that's when people are looking for your services, or you can convince people based on some promotions and offers you have to get them on a call, even though they might be 100% ready to buy right away, but your promotion could be something that pushes them right there. So depending on the season, we can also curate the process for your business. So if you're interested about learning more about what we do and how we do this, click the link in the bio to learn more about what we do. If not, just stick around and watch some of the other videos as how to implement digital marketing services in your local business. Till then, take care.